just
and honestly,
I've never heard of a
lawyers had never heard of that before. But we managed to get one of the last Swiss U in, and then after that the doors closed, and that was the end of it.
Do I want the value to be low, or do I want the value to be high?
Yeah.
In the you want the value to be the value of the stock, but they wouldn't give me. I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we are both
Fed by Farmers.
Hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Cammy Wilson.
And me, Iona Murray.
As always, before we begin our podcast, we have to give thanks to our sponsors. I sounded quite religious here. Give thanks to our sponsors, Crystalyx and
Animax.
Thanks to both of them. Of course, this time of year, if you're getting into your weaning lambs. And what do people do with cows this time of year? You don't know. Right? You're just going to have a random guess.
Yeah, I was going to try and say something funny, but it didn't come to me.
Things you do with cows this time of year, check out them for their products, and we'll hear more about them later in the show. And as always, if you want to get Fed by Farmers gear, what can they do?
You could visit the Fed by Farmers website, or you could pop into your local Cars Billington store.
Perfect. That's that done. Let's introduce this week's guest. We are joined by Tom Blackwood, Tom of Ayrshire Valais Blacknose. So we're going to do a bit of Valais Blacknose chat here, Tom, and just a bit of life chat as well. How are you?
Very well, actually. Yeah, can't complain at all.
Terrified to be put on the spot here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tom's doing us an absolute solid here because we're needed a podcast just to get us. I've kept Tom up my sleeve for a while because he's literally, Tom owns the unit we're sitting in here. The whole estate we're sitting on here, and he's like just over there. So I had thought someday we're needing somebody.
We'll just grab him.
But it's worked perfect because I suppose we should lead in with the big exciting thing that happened a couple of weeks ago. What happened?
We got Supreme Champion and Reserve Supreme at the Yorkshire Show with our Valleys. So absolutely fantastic.
Is that the biggest win to date?
Oh, absolutely, by far. By far. We got a Reserve at Ayr earlier in the year, which was really good. Mm-hmm. But to do that at Yorkshire, to actually get one at the Yorkshire, but to get the double was incredible. I was well pleased.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know how much work you put into it. Like to me, it doesn't
hard work.
To me, it doesn't make any bloody sense. But like, talk me through the Valais Blacknose thing. How did you get into them? Oh,
geez, it was about 2000 and... Well, we had been to Switzerland a couple of times and we saw the sheep in Switzerland. Never really thought much about them. And then we were at the Highland Show in 2017 and they had a small pen introducing them to everyone. We saw them then and we decided, let's try and get some. So our neighbour then later on that year had two Weathers and a ewe, and they asked me, would you be interested in buying them? So we bought them, and then we bought another 4 ewes and a tup, and we just kind of snowballed from then, and it's grown like arms and legs, as I say.
How many do you have now?
We've got 202 or something. Yeah.
That's mental. What's the biggest flock in the UK?
I think the biggest flock will be about 300.
So you're closing down. Where are you in? Are you in the top 5?
Definitely in the top 5, I would say, yeah.
Yeah. It's mad. I can remember actually, because full disclosure for this podcast, Tom and I know each other very well. I've probably got to know you through when you first got Valais.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think maybe it was John Rayside or somebody probably put me on to you to come and shear
them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, never forgiven John for that.
Yeah, what are they like to shear?
Terrible. Like, they're just so woolly.
Yeah.
And they're quite a weird, I suppose it's part of their calm nature. They have an incredible nature, but like they just don't...
They don't fight against you. They
don't
strain against you.
They don't tense up. So when
they just kind of slump.
When they're tense, you can lean on them.
Yeah.
But they almost like play dead. So like all your stretches on your back, holding them. So they're really, really difficult to shear. But at that time, I'd never shown one. So I thought, this is exciting, go and shear. And I think the first 4 you had, I think they were just in like a plant shed.
They were in the bottom shed there, yeah. They were just in a pen.
Just in a wee pen with the cameras on them. No sheep facilities or anything really.
Not a thing.
Obviously you had the fields and stuff, but did you even have a sheep shed then?
No, it was all new to us.
Yeah.
We just decided, let's go for this and see how it goes.
And how much were they first Valais Blacknose? What's the kind of money that's in them back then?
At that time, we were £3,000 for the ewe and 2 Weathers, and then I think we were £6,000 for the ewes and the tup. So it wasn't too bad, but then they weren't the highest of quality at the time. They were just what we could get. But they got us a start and they got us on the way. Yeah. So they did.
And where is the trade? Valais Blacknose was one of those interesting things because I think every farmer was talking about it at one time because the Weathers were going for what, £1,000?
£1,000 each. Again, it's split into now the good and the bad. If you're good, tups have been selling for about £18,000 to £20,000. bad ones will sell for £100.
Okay.
It really depends on how good they are, how they've done at shows. And
Just
things.
like the blackies.
Give me a fright.
Sorry, I'm here. That's just me. Just like the blackies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just like the blackies.
So, at the sale there, down at Monmouth, I think the top lamb went for 3,500 or something. So
A ewe lamb.
a ewe lamb.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, they're still doing all right for good stuff. You can't, as long as they're better than commercial, they'll do for me.
And there's an interesting thing with them that there's two types. There's a Swiss bloodline.
You've got a Swiss bloodline, then you've got European, which you've got some Dutch stuff and some various Italian stuff and bits and pieces. But you really want to try and push for the pure Swiss if you can.
Is that what you've got?
Yeah, we've got the pure Swiss. They've got better wool, they've got better legs. They're just more like the thing that anything else in Europe's been diluted, been crossed over with something. So you're better, in my opinion, to go for the pure Swiss.
And what are you looking for in it? Because obviously, like me with Black, it's all about the look and the eye and everything. Whereas looking at Valais Blacknose,
well, this was the thing that everybody was saying at the start. Everybody was going by markings. You know, the markings must be correct. It's not. It's the wool. You have to get the wool right. If you've got the wool right and you've got a mismarking, it's not the end of the world as long as the wool and the confirmation that the look of the sheep's correct. So it's swung now from how the sheep was marked to how its wool is and how it looks. We've got a look that's traditionally Swiss, a small, stocky, Swiss-looking sheep, and that's what we're trying to go for now. They're more like they are over there.
Right. Okay.
But traditionally, they've got patches in their front knees, patches in their back knees. The ewes have got a black spot in their bum. Males don't, and they've got a full black face, but not black beyond the ears. So that's if you've got all that and you've got nice wool, you're well on.
And they work on a score. They're not like
they score them. Yeah, each year of their for the first 3 years of their life, they're scored. First year is out of 444, then it's 555, and then it's 666. So you're looking
a devilish number to have for the. That's a weird
the
number.
other ones I know. So you get your marks out of 444 or 555 or 666, but it depends how they're graded.
Right, that is a weird number to choose of doing it.
I don't know. It's just the Swiss. It's a Swiss thing.
Yeah, okay.
And they're only graded for 3 years. After 3 years, then they're too old to be graded. So they're only graded for the first 3 years of their life.
Okay. And what is the purpose of that? Is that because that's mainly when you'd be selling them?
It's their wool goes off after 3 years. They lose their wool, so there's no point in grading them after that.
They never make top marks
They've never
after
made
that
top
anyway.
marks, no. It's hard enough when they get to the last year to make it.
And for the wool, do you get more money for the wool?
Unfortunately not. It's a very coarse wool.
Right, okay.
And to knit or spin with it, you have to mix it with something else.
Okay.
So there's no demand for it. The only use they've got is a thing called wet felting, which I'm not really too sure is. It's a handicraft thing. They make like small dolls and things and blankets and things. But actually to sell the wool, unfortunately, no. It just goes in with the commercial wool. There's no extra for it.
Remember at the start, it was like £100 a fleece on eBay and stuff.
I know.
It was crazy.
Was it?
I thought we were going mad. It was really mad at the start, the whole Valais Blacknose thing.
It really was.
And a lot of folk, the folk that got in there early, I think
Made a lot of money.
Really did well.
They were selling rubbish for.
Oh God! Before you said that, I was going to say, Raymond, if you're listening, I was going to give you a shout out for making lots of money. But obviously, we're not talking about you for the rubbish side of it. But I know Raymond was one of the, because obviously we saw him in This Family Life. That probably gave him a big boost. Actually,
Definitely, that was a big kickstart. There's no doubt about it. I mean,
that little lamb chasing them about.
They really selfie with Elfie, I think it was.
Aye.
They really turned a corner with that. That's really propelled them. So since then, the only problem we've got now is that we've got no more bloodlines coming in. We only brought them in 2014. And you can't get them in anymore because of all sorts of restrictions. So everybody's working on the same bloodlines that were brought in then, which is getting tighter and tighter to work with.
Would there be options of getting like semen transfer?
They don't do semen or embryo in Switzerland at all. Oh. So you can't get...
Even if you offer them money?
No, they're not. They do it as a hobby over there. They're not money orientated. I'll give you an example.
Is that just because they have so much money?
Well, we visited one farmer there. Now, he works in a factory. Lovely guy, works in a factory. He just finished his £750,000 sheep barn for his hobby.
Different world, eh? Moving to Switzerland.
Yeah, that's a level there. 750,000 or euros.
Euros, aye. And what does that get? Does it look like a seven?
Oh, it's a proper barn. Aye. It's nice, but that's the level they're at, and they're just his pets. They're just his hobby.
Yeah, so the amount you need to pay for him, that's insane. Yeah. But am I right in saying you're the last person to import a sheep from Switzerland?
we brought one in 2020 before the rules changed. It was a fair operation, to be honest with you. It took us about 8 months to get it all done. Oh, wow. But we managed to get one of the last Swiss ewe in, and then after that the doors closed, and that was the end of it, unfortunately.
And the big issue is it the Scrapie's issue?
Scrapie's issue. Well, Scrapie's one of the issue, but now it's a thing called Zootech. The UK is Zootech approved, but Switzerland isn't, and you're only allowed to transfer sheep from Zootech to Zootech. So
what is Zootech?
It's a thing. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a thing about import and export animals. You've got to be approved by the Zootechnological Society or something. Okay. And Switzerland isn't, and the UK is. And
you think Switzerland being quite progressive, but then maybe they're just not bothered about it. They won't want you to have them.
They're not bothered.
Is that not the reality?
Yeah.
Well, that could be a bit of that about it as well.
Like the amount of Valais Blacknose that are here in the UK now, like we must be getting close
almost more here now than there is in Switzerland.
There you go. They won't like that
because they cull them in Switzerland. If they don't make the mark, they eat them. I mean, they're absolutely delicious. Forgive me for saying this, but the meat is. I don't eat lamb as a norm, but we had lamb over in Switzerland, and you can cut it with a plastic spoon. There's no fat in it at all. It's like it's almost like a Wagyu steak. It's marbled. It's absolutely incredible. And so anything that doesn't make the mark gets culled, so their numbers are controlled.
Mm-hmm. And they just keep the best.
Just keep the best. Mm-hmm. Whereas
they probably don't like us here.
In the UK, we keep everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's an emotional part of it because people keep them as pets, and then there's a financial part of it that people think, well, that's too valuable to cull. It's going to have to happen. They're going to have to get into the food chain at some point. But at the moment, it's kind of more pets and breeding.
Do you think they don't have as much fat because they're so woolly, so they don't need it?
I think it's their diet, because in Switzerland they're up in the mountains and they eat herbs and flowers and kind of pick grazing. They're not in big lush fields of green grass. So I definitely think that makes a difference to the meat.
Yeah,
I think maybe the sheer amount of exercise and stuff as well. I don't know. They're such a lean breed, like
very very lean breed,
and
quite a soft breed as well.
Yeah,
you know, they come in the winter in Switzerland. They're in the barns from probably September to end of February. They come down off the mountains, so you know over here they get most things that's going. They suffer from bad feet. You know, they suffer from their diet. They don't put weight on easily. You know, they're quite a hard sheep to keep.
And part of the issue with the feet though is the fact that you have to keep them like you're keeping them for show condition or at peak condition. You have to put a fair bit of feeding into them.
You do,
and that has an impact on the feet too.
Because exactly, makes their feet grow really quickly.
Yeah.
There's more weight on their feet. And
yes, of
in
course.
Switzerland, they're up in the mountains in the dry stones. They're wearing their feet. Keeping them dry. In Ayrshire fields, they're just clagging about in the muck. So it's a different climate for them. The feet are the biggest issue. We have to do their feet probably every 6 weeks.
Really?
At least inspecting them and cleaning them and sometimes trimming them, but every 6 weeks.
Does your flock make money?
No,
You
absolutely not.
should only make money when you sell them all. even then, that's the problem. You have too many now to sell them all in a winter.
Well, that is the problem, and the amount of investment I've put into my infrastructure, my barns and stuff like that. It's a huge hobby for us.
Yeah,
it gets me moving, gives me something to do. It's something I do with Joan, my wife, and my son helps out as well. You meet so many cracking people in the breed. It's a hobby, and my problem is that I take my hobbies too far.
Absolutely. We should go into other hobbies. Speaking about taking it too far, tell us about your cars.
Reduce the risk of fly strike and livestock irritation at grass with Crystalyx garlics. Flies and midges are a constant pest to livestock throughout the summer and are responsible for diseases such as summer mastitis, pink eye, blue tongue and Schmallenberg. No repellent is 100% effective in the fight against airborne biting insects. However, Crystalyx garlics can play an important part in reducing the number of flies that land on livestock. Containing concentrated garlic extract, 5 times more potent than pure dried garlic, Crystalyx garlics offers a natural defense to biting insects, with the high sulfur compounds in garlic acting as a natural insect repellent. With a full complement of vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalyx garlics balances the known deficiencies in forage while stimulating the rumen for enhanced animal performance. Make the switch this summer to research-proven Crystalyx garlics.
Oh yeah, before I had the sheep, I used to do a bit of rally driving and a bit of track days and things. So I had a fair collection of rally Fords and classic Fords and all sorts of things. So I don't have as many now because I've turned them into sheds, but
which is much more sensible to me. But like you showed me them one time, and obviously
Yeah.
it means nothing to me. I'm not a car guy at all. But tell us, you have a Ford.
with a couple of Ford.
What's the one you've got two the same of? That
With
are really rare.
two Ford RS200s.
Okay. Somebody listening will be like, "Oh,
We
wow."
should put up photos.
Yeah, we'll put photos up. But
Which were a Group B supercar. They're only used for a very short time, and as I say, we had two of them at one point. We had a whole lot of famous Mark II Escorts, Mark I Escorts, all different bits and pieces, just from different rally eras. I tried to have a collection for every era of rallying right through, which we managed.
Have you had anything that Colin McRae's driven?
I've got Colin's dad's car in the garage, and I've got a car.
Was his dad a rally driver?
His
too?
dad's Jimmy McRae's a very famous rally driver, so I've got his car. And actually, Jimmy drove it just a few years ago in a demonstration event, which is quite good. So, the cars were really good. They opened up a lot of doors, and we had a lot of fun with them. But since the sheep has come in, we've kind of too busy with the sheep now. So.
I feel like we've started at the present and going back. Maybe should we go right back and work our way forward?
Yeah, it probably leads into, because the one thing folk will be wondering is how the hell can Tom afford those cars and how can I afford these Valais Blacknose sheep? So
let's go right back
to the start.
Yeah,
Start for the start.
I can see all my bills going up now.
Start for the start, Tom.
Yeah.
Aye,
Right from the start.
We'll get to the good bit. Aye, like,
where did you grow up?
I grew up in just outside of Sturton. My dad had a beef and sheep farm. He fattened cows and sheep, and he did farm contracting, silage, and ploughing and everything. And then he moved more into excavators, JCBs, doing land drainage, farm work again. And then the excavators moved into more like housing sites and things, so more industrial stuff. So I've kind of grown up with tractors and diggers and things all my life. So I left the school and I had various jobs before I ended up at a place called Lindsay Plant in Kilmarnock, which was a big, massive plant hire company.
I think that doesn't exist anymore.
No, they got bought over in 1999, I think. So I worked my way through there, driving machines. I used to get in and wash the machines at the weekends, and then I got asked to get into the workshop and help, sort the machines. So I did a few years at that, and then they bought a railway division to work machines that work in the railway, and then they asked me to go and look after them, and then I used to drive the machines in the railway and then look after them. So basically doing all sorts of stuff, and I really enjoyed it. They gave me a real good start. 1999, 2000, they were taken over, and it just tied in with the same time as my dad was retiring. My dad had his two JCBs at that point. So I thought, I take this chance now and have a go myself. I had a really good job there, really good job, and really well paid. So it was quite a challenge or quite a thought to.
What was your job title there? You just a mechanic, time served mechanic at that point, or?
Well, I didn't have papers. I was time served mechanic, but obviously didn't have papers.
By modern day things,
yeah.
Okay.
But I was in charge of the railway division maintenance, and as I say, I used to go out driving them as well. So it was a good job, paid really well. So I took the plunge anyway. I put my notice in, and they were very good to me. They said, "Look, if you want to hire for your diggers, we'll help you out. We'll give you some work and thing." So they did, and they gave me a lot of work. So while I did that, I went to work for a company called QTS in Darvel.
So was QTS on the go back in 2000?
Yeah, it's quite near the start. And Alan McLeish was very, very, very good to me. So I used to drive my own machines during the day and used to drive his machines at night.
Right.
I don't know if you should tell people this. But
it's a simpler time.
I did that for over a year, double shifting. I used to sleep in my van in between days and nights.
Yeah.
But it gave me money to buy more diggers. So I bought another digger. And so then we finished up in the railway because it got too much. And we concentrated fully on the plant. So that was about 2002. So we worked away, built the plant higher up. When we bought it, it was 2 diggers, and we turned over maybe about 100,000 a year.
Sorry to interrupt you, Tom. See, when you're saying this is going to be a stupid question, plant hire, is that people hiring out your diggers?
Yes, yeah, they're hiring our diggers
so you're
and drivers.
not doing it. You've got drivers.
We've got drivers as well.
Right, okay.
So we can either hire the digger or they can hire the digger and the driver,
right,
depending what they want.
Just going to I take it when somebody, I always wonder about these things. I take it somebody comes to you and says we want to hire a digger, they have to show some proof that they have some way of driving it. Or do you just trust them?
Usually no, as long as they've got insurance for it, they
Just let some idiot drive your digger.
In those days, things may have changed now, but in those days they just hired the digger and got on with it. Because you know, the boss of you could hire the digger, but then you could put somebody else on it. So just because you can drive a digger doesn't mean to say that you're driving
okay.
it.
Yeah.
So there's no way of checking who's actually doing it.
But it must work because obviously it's big
It
business.
does
But
work.
do folk not wreck it? No, I suppose the digger's hard to wreck.
But that's what insurance is for.
Okay.
Just claim the insurance.
Yep.
The biggest problem was getting paid from people. Because you had no idea whether they could pay for it or not.
And what is the sort of cost like for?
A digger then was about £50,000. The diggers now for the equivalent diggers about 110,000.
And then how much are you charging per? Like what?
We were charging probably about £400 a week for the machine.
Seems all right.
Yeah.
But then that's back 2000.
Yeah, that was back then.
That's going about what 1,500 now.
Well, no, they're probably about 600 now for a machine. Yeah.
That's
not with a driver.
Not with a driver. Yeah,
that's cheaper than a.
How much size digger's that?
about 13 ton.
That's better than I thought.
I think that's cheap.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If you tell them that.
But they've got these machines have got to work all the time. They've got to.
Yeah, if you
they've got to
overprice it, it's not. It'd be better getting £600 working than it's sitting in the yard.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
So I had a lot of help. I had a lot of help from JCB manufacturers. They used to, help me out with credit and things with machines. Were really, really good to me. So we managed to build up excavators quite quickly. More excavators we got, more demand there was for excavators, so I had to buy more excavators.
And magnets again, is an excavator a digger?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. So we did that. We started some really good members of staff, people that I used to work with at Lindsay Plant. I brought them in.
Poached them off the...
That's not a word I would use. Enticed them to work.
Yeah. I've got half of them free's house here. I'm having enough bother myself.
So we've got these people in. They brought some contracts with them. We had some customers who stopped by us, from the Lindsay Plant days that I used to know, and it all snowballed. And that all went great until we hit the crash of 2009.
Okay.
Which everything in one weekend we had 3/4 of all our kit back in the yard, just overnight. It was horrible.
Because all these construction companies,
everything
shut down.
Everything shut down.
Yeah.
Why was that?
Because of the financial crash.
That was in the banks of Northern Rock, and
the banks were going out the game.
Right,
House building just stopped.
property prices crashed.
Everybody just panicked and put everything off. So of course I'm sitting there with probably 100 odd excavators.
You were up to 100
at that point. Yeah.
That's unbelievable. And that is purely you built that up just from.
Yeah, from two. Yeah, just kind of.
But at that point, I mean, what was your monthly payments in finance?
Huge.
Like, you've got them sitting in the...
Yeah.
What was your next month? Would you remember what you would be due in that back then?
I wouldn't know. I couldn't even think.
But what, like 100 grand a month? Not as much as
maybe
that?
not as much as that, but you'd be, maybe 40, 50 a month.
I knew they were sitting in the yard.
Sitting in the yard.
Yeah.
So the first thing we did is we had to find other sectors to work, because obviously construction didn't work. So we managed to go around and we found people who worked in the power, putting up these big pylons. And they were putting in new lines for all the wind farms. So we got in with them, got contracts to put the machines onto the wind power lines. And that kept us going right through. Between that and the railway work that we did, kept us going right through the bad time. The other thing I did was I went to all my finance companies, explained the situation, said, look guys, if you work with me, we'll get through this. If you don't work with me, then we're all stuffed.
Yeah.
And I have to say, every single one of them worked with us. We paid them all back, and they still work with us. So I'm a great believer, if you do what you say you'll do, people will work with you. And
that was a case of going to them saying, listen, we can't pay you this month, but if you defer it or drop the payments, increase the loan term.
Yeah. Just different workings. Some deferred the payments, some dropped the payments for a while, added it onto the end. Between, because they didn't want the diggers back either.
No,
So,
they don't want it to fail.
Yeah. So
it's kind of the same with mortgages, isn't it? Like I remember when there was a big panic recently with cost of living crisis, the big push was like, phone your bank, like
talk to them.
You can take a break from your mortgage and add it on later on and stuff. So rather than just putting your
bury your head
in the hole. Yeah.
And see, if you talk to people, 9 times out of 10 they'll work with you. Yeah, definitely. So we get through all that, which was great. And because we get through that, we were stronger than a lot of our competitors who struggled. And we took on more staff, got more contracts. we had really good management team, fantastic management team, and I had always planned by the time I was 50 to move on. So I was coming up to 50, and I thought, how am I going to get out of this? And I thought, am I going to sell? Who's going to buy it? But this time we were up to nearly 300 machines, turning over 19 million a year.
That's insane.
It was a big animal.
And you're the boss.
Yeah.
You're it.
Yeah. So.
But did you still own 100% of the business at that point?
Yeah,
right, okay.
100%. So I spoke to banks and things, and they said, maybe you'll get an investor will come in and buy it out. So we looked at that. Investors wanted all sorts of caveats and rules, and they wanted to run the business the way they wanted to run it and things.
And still make you stay on as the
part
head
of it
man
was staying
type
on
thing.
as well.
Yeah.
I wasn't comfortable with that. So I then thought, management buyout. So I spoke to the team, put it down on the table for them, said, look, guys, would you buy it? Would you want to buy it? And they said, well, we couldn't afford it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said, but you could buy it out of the profits of the company. Mm-hmm. If the company runs really well for the next 7, 8 years, 10 years, you can pay me back every month until it's paid. And we sorted out a deal and they went for it. And
I love that.
I've never heard that before.
So they got the company for their hard work. And no disrespect to them, they didn't have to put their hand in their pocket as such, but they had to work their asses off to make sure the place worked to pay me.
And you it says a lot about them that you obviously believe that deal's going to work, because if you didn't think they were up to it, you wouldn't even put yourself in that position.
Not at all.
And what sort of size was the management team?
We had 4 at that point who were really running the main thing.
And what was your staffing number?
In the office, we probably had about 8 or 9 in the office, and we had probably about 200 guys out in the field. Wow. Out driving, but maybe 180 to 200.
No wonder you went it out. That just sounds like an absolute nightmare to me. You were still doing massive weeks all the time.
Oh yeah,
we still get involved in fixing diggers and stuff at that point. No, really, you'd have a whole team of mechanics and stuff, but then
and everything in there.
Night shift on call, and
it was just basically management. But I had such a good team there. They were doing all the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah,
and I was dealing with the
really big decisions,
buying and selling of the kit, and where we were going next, what we were doing. So Wendy and myself had spent probably a month doing cash flows and business forecasts to see whether the business could pay for itself.
We should say Wendy is.
Wendy's
right-hand
my PA.
man. Yeah,
she's a PA, a fantastic person. She's been with me since 17 years maybe.
Yeah,
wow.
She goes about here with a whip, just cracking it when the rent's due.
She is absolutely brilliant. So we had to make sure the business could do it. And they could do it with them. And to be fair to the guys, they absolutely knocked it out of the park. They not only paid it all off that they were to pay, but they paid it all off early.
Wow.
And I still own 10% of the business at the moment, but they're making a fantastic job of it.
But you want to keep that 10%?
No, they're in the process of buying out. I should be out of it in probably another 2 years maybe.
Okay.
And that'll be me clear.
And what was the sale price at the time? Can I say what I think I read in the paper? You tell me if I'm right. I thought it was in the paper at 15 million. Does that sound about right?
You're not a million miles away.
That is incredible.
Good goal.
So, listen, we had a lot of luck, and we had a lot of really good people. I'm not saying for a second it was down to me, because it wasn't. It's down to the team. And they did well, and to give them back, so they're in a position now. I walked away happy. I got what I wanted.
Yeah,
they've got the business. It's a win-win for everybody.
I think that is just
and
so
honestly,
I've never heard of a management buyout.
Lawyers had never heard of that before. The way that they've heard of management buyouts, where the management team go to a bank and borrow the money to pay me, but they'd never heard of the management just paying me.
Yeah. So you, we don't need to go too much into this, because it's getting into rather random stuff. But you have 100%, and then they buy a percentage at a time.
Yeah, there was
essentially they keep diluting your
things called loan notes.
Yeah.
So they would buy percentages loan notes, and once that loan note's paid, that's them got another percentage of the company, and it just works away.
God, it's interesting. I wonder if that's a thing for farms. Could it be like your share farm? Could an employee buy out the farm on that basis? Probably not, because there's no profit to buy the farm.
Exactly.
you've got to make money. that was the thing about the plant hire at the time. It was creating cash.
Yeah, yeah.
So people said to me, "Well, you're nuts. Why didn't you just take that money and keep the business? If it was paying it." But if I was still owning the business, I'd still be in the middle of it, and I'd probably be in a box by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That pressure and stress, even if, as you say, you've got
Yeah.
a good team. Like,
Joan, my wife, said to me, she says, a couple of days after it, she says, you're walking about 2 feet taller,
Yeah.
because it was just
Yeah.
on you all the time.
yeah.
And I do my very best to try and do things as well as I can, and see when things don't go well, I take it really hard.
Yeah.
So it worked well for me.
And what did you do once?
What did I do once?
Bought all those bloody cars.
Yeah, so onto the cars.
I went a couple of holidays, I'm not going to lie. We had a good year. And then we had built this unit that we were in actually I bought... Oh, sorry,
Yeah, so talk about
before
this
that,
place
the
we're
land.
at.
I bought the land, just as I was selling Blackwood Plant Hire, the land next door came up for sale.
And you bought it as you yourself, not as...
No, Blackwood Plant Hire bought it.
So it is Blackwood Plant Hire, okay.
Blackwood Plant Hire bought it. So we had to pay a lot of money for it because the girl, I only wanted to buy 40 acres. She wanted to sell 140 acres and she wouldn't split it. So I had to pay a lot of money for it, but we got this land, I got this 140 acres and a house. So that was fine. When the sale went through, part of the deal was that I got the land. So I get the land out of Blackwood Plant Hire as part of my deal.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't want it anyway.
Didn't need it. And we built this unit that we're sitting in with the thought of, we'll put the cobble shop, which was my other business, a garden aggregate business, we'll put this cobble shop in it, and we might build a unit to rent out, see how it goes. So we put the cobble shop in here, built another unit, it filled instantly. So we thought, right, okay, we'll build another unit. It filled instantly, and we've been building and filling units ever since.
And what is a unit? Just talk through what size of a unit is. I don't even know what size these units are.
The buildings are 60 metres long by 18 metres wide, divided to 10.
Okay.
So each unit 6 metres by 18.
Okay.
And we've made everything the same, so that, every unit's exactly the same, so just to keep it nice and easy. So we're up to now, I think we're up to about 100 units now. And we're still short of units. So it's,
and you're building more at the moment.
We're building more at the moment.
And how many more's going in there?
There's 8 going over there and 10 over another bit.
So you'll be like 118 roughly.
Over 100 anyway. So.
And we kind of jumped over that cobble shop bit. Was that happening at the same? Because this is interesting because I know you quite well, but I don't actually know these little details. Like, was that happening at the same time as Blackwood?
No, 2007. People were coming into Plant Hire and can I get a digger because I'm doing my driveway or I'm doing work at my house, by the way, do you know where I can get type 1? Do you know where I can get cement? Do you know where I can get this?
Yeah.
I thought, right, okay, well, we're giving them the diggers, let's give them the other stuff as well. So we started Blackwood Decorative Aggregates, and we supplied all the different building materials. And then I think 2010, 2011, we changed it to the cobble shop to make it more customer friendly and easier to answer on the phone.
Yeah. It's quite
So we did that, and it's just been working away. Initially, my wife Joan worked in there, and it's been good. It's been a good wee business. Still running at the moment, and it's we supply a lot of builders and a lot of householders and stuff.
But by doing that, you're not just giving yourself the same headache as staff again, and like
it's not.
It's much smaller.
It's much smaller, but there is still issues with staff and drivers and things, as any business will have. In the future, the units have probably taken over the cobble shop. Whether the cobble shop lasts in the future, who knows? But the units are definitely the way forward at the moment. It's a good wee business, and totally took me by surprise because I never ever thought that in Sturton we could
do what you've done,
rent all these units.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like an industrial park.
No, that's exactly what I was about to say. Like, it probably ties into what you mentioned before, and knowing you for a good few years now, I can back that up. Is like whenever you do anything, it like has to be the best. Like the amount of money he wastes here doing things like cutting that bloody grass every week. There's about an acre of grass gets cut here.
And then I put fertiliser on it. And then I put it again.
to make it look greener. And he's got to cut it even more. But just because it looks so nice. Yeah. But I would have just fenced the bloody thing and put sheep on it.
Yeah.
Like I'd have had that fence and sheep on it, but that the lawns are immaculate.
Yeah, it's so
tarmac everywhere.
Trees and things.
All
those bloody
it's
trees.
Friendly. Like it feels friendly.
But it's the trees. Like again with stuff on the YouTube, there's like a line of trees when you come in that have lights lighting them up.
It's so nice.
The gateway, like God, how much did the wall at the gateway cost you?
30,000, I think.
But like again, it'll be on the YouTube, but the wall is just so over the top, immaculate. Like
It's so nice.
You just look at the place and go, "That's a tidy place."
But
Yeah.
do you not think that if you do things right, they tend to work?
Proofs in the
Absolutely.
pudding here. Like every unit's right. Am I right in saying every unit,
Every's
all 100
rented,
units
yeah.
are rented, and there's like a waiting list.
Yeah, there's a waiting list.
Like
just now.
in Shorten, which is
Crazy.
a small village. Well, it's a big
Aye,
town.
but-
It's almost a town. It's a big village in Ayrshire.
But it's not local people that are in these units. There's people from all over in these units.
No, I couldn't believe I spoke to the guys across the road there a while back. They're coming from the other side of Glasgow
Yeah.
because they couldn't find anywhere. One, they couldn't find how well priced it is. Like I do think it's quite well priced.
Yeah.
So how well priced it is, and how immaculate and tidy and safe the place is. Like so they couldn't find anywhere like it nearby and came here.
When we did our pricing, we thought you can have them expensive and have half of them empty, or you can have them reasonable and have them all full.
Yeah.
Well, what would you rather have?
Absolutely.
And it's amazing how many businesses have flourished here, like
yeah.
ourselves.
Oh,
We started with 1 unit. We now have 3.
That happens so many times. People will start with 1 and then it's, is next door available, or can we get 2? Can we get 3? And luckily we made all the internal dividing walls modular, so I can take a wall out, move it. I can make 1 unit into 3 or 2 or 4. It's all flexible, which is because we initially were going to just build brick walls, and then we thought, that'll not work.
No.
So there's a lot of thought went into it, and we're still learning. Don't get me wrong, we're still learning, but it has worked. It's worked really well.
And not too many horror stories with tenants generally.
I've had to evict 1 tenant. I've had 1 tenant go burst. On the whole, they're really good.
The big benefit of this kind of rental over residential is you've got the keys.
Yep, we've got the keys.
Just change the lock.
Well, even the gate, the big electric gate.
Of course.
You take their number out the gate, they're not getting in.
They can't get in.
Yeah.
And when they do move out, you haven't got to decorate, put carpets in,
Yeah.
paint.
Work with estate
Yeah,
agents.
not at all. You sweep it out and sit in it.
You've not had any move in because obviously part of the terms of this lease is that we return it the way it is. You've not had to leave, and it's been like you've had to do a lot of work to get it back to it. No,
not at all.
Because generally people improve it.
I know,
they
that's
improve
the
it, they
thing.
put things in, and
Put toilets
the
in
next
and-
person will just take it.
Just wants it. Yeah, well, that's what we did.
Yeah.
Well, here this was the cobble shop before, so the office we're filming this podcast in, you built this.
Yep.
And we were just lucky enough to, you knew what we were looking for, so you offered us this unit, and it's like, it saved us a fortune.
No, it works. It definitely does.
Just wait till we leave and he tells us to take it all back
Take it
out.
all out. what do you mean leave?
Nobody leaves me.
The gate works both ways.
You can't get out.
Can't get out.
It's been fantastic for us. Like, it is a great bit. But and just what a booming business. Who'd have thought? Because you do a lot about self storage as well.
We do self-storage as well. And when we sold the plant hire, this sounds like a really first world problem to have, but we wondered what to do with the funds.
Yeah.
Because I was scared to...
Pay tax.
I've paid plenty of tax. I was scared to give it to some investment company to go away and do something with.
Yeah, okay. Because that would be the obvious thing to do. Yeah.
I like to come and touch and see and know that things are there, and if something goes wrong, it goes wrong because of me, not because some guy on the phone said, "I'm really sorry, we've lost all your money."
Yeah, absolutely. That would terrify me.
So we decided, to put it into these, and it's been good, and it's interesting. I actually like all the different people and all the businesses and hearing their stories and seeing them how they're getting on, and it is good. There's always things to do. There's more things to tidy up. You said it's tidy. I think it's a mess. I think there's things annoy me every day, but we'll get there. It's getting there.
Oh, no, it's a tremendous space. And with the, you were saying about being able to touch things and that, an interesting thing with the cars, because some of these cars are crazy money as well, but I learned this through the Hoof GP, is that actually, so I thought, like, why would you waste your money on these things? But these things just go up in value all the time.
They
If
do,
you've got a car that, belonged to Colin McRae's dad, and all these limited edition things.
They're only going one way.
Yeah.
Aye. So, like, I used to think this is just madness, like, what a waste
Like
of money.
a normal car.
Like a
Literally,
normal
as soon
car.
as you start driving
Yeah,
it.
so like Graham
it's-
would buy these fancy Porsches and like, there's only one of 500 made or something. I'm like, what a waste of money. It was 300,000 or whatever. But he then sells it for 308. He's made like a year's wages.
Aye, just by having it.
By having it and driving it.
Yeah.
So I was like, totally, I'm back on side with that. So that I suppose that's like your talk about your investment you can see and
Exactly.
touch.
And we've cut right back down. We've only got the what I call the special cars, the ones that I really want to keep. The rest of them are all gone because we've we rent out that area for storing cars now.
Yeah.
So we actually store other people's.
Because it's like it's a
really
heated.
It's a nice.
Because you have to these
conditioned
fancy.
garage.
I've learned so much. It'd be like
Yeah.
with these fancy cars, you have to have them heated for. Is that for the tires?
It's for the whole thing. It's for to stop dampness. You've got to have them air conditioned and heated and a nice temperature controlled environment.
Aye, so the shed's heated all the time.
Yeah.
To
look
That's
at.
cool.
Mad. It was bloody mad.
Would
but
you ever
me.
get into cars?
No. You've seen Matt when I get into cars? I'm driving a 2 grand Suzuki. A bit. Do you know what I mean? Tom says I'm low on the tone of the place. He's going to block a number from the gate.
I'll pick you up at the gate.
You couldn't any chance you could park that round the back and walk round, Cammy?
Just buy your car.
That's what I'm hoping. It's like if I keep stalling it outside the office, it's like chugging along. Like hopefully it'll just give me one of the rally cars to go about in. But no, it is you built up again. It's almost that if you do things right, you know, like you built up the digger business, then you've done this, and it's absolutely booming.
Yeah, I've been lucky though. I've been lucky, and a lot of people have helped me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to,
But I say my big thing's luck. Like I was getting a row for that the other day, saying, "Oh no, it's hard work this and hard work that." It's like, but I know people that have worked hard all their life, and not got very far.
Oh, can I tell you a wee thing about luck that I think? Right, I think you make luck in a lot of times. When I was a boy, we had a caravan down the Ayr, or my grandparents had a caravan. We used to walk down the beach, and there was this cottage on the beach that I thought, this is fantastic, absolutely beautiful, wee house on the beach, beautiful. Always loved it, always thought about this cottage, and probably about 6 years ago, I went on to the Scottish Land Register, found out who owned it, sent them a letter. If you're ever thinking of selling this house, please let me know. 5 years went by, nothing. Then I got a phone call. Such and such here, we're going to be selling the cottage. Would you be interested? And I'm like, wow. So we went down, did the deal, and got the cottage, and absolutely love it to bits. I mean, it's a proper wee boat hole, really nice. It's nothing fancy, but it's just really, really nice. And I think to myself, if you don't make the effort to go and do something, things don't happen.
Yeah.
You know, so
100%.
yeah, there is luck. I mean, and there is definitely luck, but there is also putting things in, put the feelers out, putting things
Totally.
out.
Like your luck there is that they kept a hold of the letter
Exactly.
and made
That's
the
my
call
luck.
rather than just throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
That's a lot there, but you
Yes.
made that luck happen.
Yeah, in the first place.
Yeah, and a lot of people, when I'm speaking to people about getting started in farming, like a lot of my luck is being honest with folk and telling them that I'm desperate for ground. I'm desperate to get a start. So opening up rather than being like, oh, I don't want to show any
Totally.
weakness or show.
Yes.
And then you'll get a phone call randomly, like, oh, someone
100%.
told me this, and you think, well, that's luck that they've passed that on. But you made the luck by telling loads of people.
By making that
That's
move in
the
the
thing.
first
So
place.
there's luck, but there's also
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making your
There's
luck
winning
as
the lottery, and then there's that kind of luck.
Yeah.
But you had to buy a
You
ticket.
had to buy a ticket.
You had to buy
Yeah.
a ticket, which I don't do. No.
Should we have a wee word from our sponsors?
Yeah, we'll do that very quickly just now. Here we go.
Most foragers don't supply sheep and cattle with enough cobalt, copper, iodine and selenium, critical to digestion, immunity, reproduction and growth. When it comes to supplementation, there's a danger of under or oversupply. But when bolusing with Animax Tracesure, you can be sure every animal has enough for up to 6 months in one single application. Animax, giving what it takes.
And we're back. So we've kind of covered a good bit about the past.
Yeah.
And led us up a bit to the present, I suppose. We're at this 202, was it, in the flock?
it's about 202, yeah.
202
Valais, yeah.
Valais in the flock. What is the flock value? I mean, do you have to do that? You'll have to do that for your... But then, how does it work? You'll know this because you're obviously dealing with accountants quite a lot. Are you better to tell your accountant a lower value? Because the value is like...
I know.
How long's a piece of string? Like,
I argue,
what's better for your accounts?
I argued with my accountant, I'll be honest with you, because he wanted the value of all my lambs. And I thought, the value's zero because they haven't cost me anything.
Okay.
They're only a value when I sell them. And he said, no, you have to put a value down for them. I says, well, that's going to generate a tax bill because I've suddenly got 100 lambs at, £500 each.
But is that how it works? Is it?
Apparently this is the way it works.
Okay.
So I had said to him, I says, look, surely we can just, as we sell them, that's their value, and that goes against
that income comes...
it goes your income. I'm already putting my feeding and my straw and everything against, my bills at the moment.
Yeah.
And he said, no, there is a rule from HMRC that you have to put a value down for your newborns. And I I still don't get that.
Yeah,
Apparently, as a norm. As
Yeah,
a normal
it is.
thing.
I have to do it every year. I have to give a value of my stock.
I don't mind the stock that I bought. You know,
Yeah, 'cause it's
anything I bought,
easy.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's got
it's
a
easy.
value.
You paid for it.
Although it's depreciating all the time.
Do they
Absolutely.
take that into account?
They do to a certain amount, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think there
But
is
you-
some sort
but
of
your
tax break. Is
newborns-
there not some sort of tax break with the...
I don't honestly know.
No, near that. It's terrible. I should ask. But I just trust my accountants to do it, like, because, yeah, I know
But
them
when
really
the
well. But
accountant said to me, you know, I had to value my new lambs, I thought, well, they're not actually worth it until you sell them.
I my accountant won't mind me saying this because they are so straight down, you know, there's no, everything's 100% straight. So I say to them, what do you want the value to be? And then they reply saying, what the value is. Like, they don't give me a clue. Like, do I want the value to be low? Or do I want the value to be high?
Yeah.
And you want the value to be the value of the stock. But they won't give me... I think I've asked them in person, it'd be all right, but they won't write it in text. That's how straight they are. And they're probably quite right, but I still don't. So that comes to the thing, I still don't know. And people listening to this, let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
From a
definitely.
tax point of view, should your stock be valued lower, or does it benefit your tax somehow valued higher? I can't see how it would, but it'd be interesting to know. So I suppose, but, like, what is...
Value of the flock.
What you get?
If I was to sell up tomorrow and just have a dispersal sale, oh, jeez, maybe, I don't know.
Would it average 1,000?
I would say it
least.
would average a...
Because I'm mostly females.
It would average 1,000 a head, I would say.
Aye.
You know,
Okay.
over the piece.
Okay. So my flock's worth more than yours, that's the main thing. That's good. Got him. Finally got him.
How many do you have?
He's got me in my car. I've got 3,000 head. 3,000 head. Aye. So I've got to have a few more to match it for sure. Mine's are worth 10 times. Mine's would be worth £100 probably average a head. But it's, I suppose the next thing I say, we've covered the past and now we've just done the present there. What's the future? Like,
Oh, there's a thing.
I mean, for me, it's like put the brakes on. How
I
many
know.
bloody sheep do you want?
Oh, I was thinking more, do you want the stress of having all these units?
But these units are less stress, are they?
These are good.
This is like
These are
proper
good.
passive income,
I
really.
would have double this if I could.
Would you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
It's just Wendy that's stressed.
For when?
Yeah, that's the buffer.
She does everything, to be
Yeah.
fair, and she's really good. I mean, I'm a bit soft, I'll be honest with you. If somebody said they couldn't pay their rent, I'd be like, it's okay, we'll get it next month. She's not. She's like, no, you'll have to pay your rent.
Aye.
Yeah.
Because if you start letting it slide, it'll be...
Yeah.
That's the thing. So that's why it's better letting her deal with it.
Now folk will be in the podcast. No, folk will be going, but I listened to Tom in the podcast. He got a let off with his finances like, no, look at him now. I want to give their small businesses, I think. Nah. So I'll come to you when we're struggling.
Yeah,
I'll know that. I'll
absolutely.
skip by Wendy.
Come direct, yeah.
But so obviously units, you're going to keep growing them. That's part of the future. But what about the sheep? Like,
Well,
you can't be buying any more sheep.
we don't tend to buy a lot of sheep now. We are producing a lot of
Yeah.
sheep, but we're not. I mean, we don't tend to buy a lot. If I see something really nice, like a nice tup or something that would bring, something to our flock, then yeah, I probably would. But the days of going and buying, 10 and 20 Valleys is definitely not happening now. I think we've actually got too many at the moment. I'd like to reduce.
Strongly agree. Yep. There's so many sheep up there, it's unreal.
I'd like to.
I mean, not that you've got too much for the facilities. I mean, you don't have enough.
We could probably have double up there.
Yeah, I mean, again, on the YouTube, we'll have some shots of the sheep sheds, like incredible sheep sheds. You could easily have double, but it's more for the work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. I mean,
And is it just you and Joan?
No, I've got a girl, Gillian, now. She comes in 4 days a week and she helps me during the day. She's absolutely fantastic. She's got valleys of her own.
Oh, brilliant.
And I'd be lost without her. I mean, yesterday I was down south delivering some sheep, and I looked in the cameras and she's washing all my lambs for me yesterday. So,
But it's mad, like, as well, like, because yesterday you spent, 20 hours of drive. You did 20 hours of driving.
Yeah, well,
between last night and...
we left the house at 3 and get back at 11.
Oh,
run about with valleys.
goodness.
Yeah.
This is his retirement phase. Do you know what I mean?
It's a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, run about, definitely on paper. If not, he's probably not left in the bank after these Valais Blacknose. The bank's pretty dry, but on paper, but like running about doing 20 hours drive. That's the thing. It's not even that, Tom. I tell you what makes me think you're a wee bit sick in the head. Is this washing Valais Blacknose? What is washing? Washing these Valais Blacknose. The amount of time you spend washing
I'm a
them.
saddle because I used to wash my diggers and things, and because I like things to
Is
look.
that your mindfulness?
Aye.
Do you find it
Yeah.
quite
Oh,
relaxing? Yeah,
Because I see a
I get
result.
that.
I see a result. I wash them and I see them,
Mm-hmm.
and I look at how nice they're looking, and then 2 days later they're all muck again.
It's a never end. It's such a difficult thing. But because tell the story about the Yorkshire show, you had them all prepared. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had them all prepared 2 days before, as we do, in their clean pen, all ready to go. We went to check them about 10 o'clock the night before we were leaving, and one of the youngest lambs had broken out of the pen and got to the milking machine. We got a Valais milk machine that produces milk for the lambs. Chewed the pipe off it and sat there and guzzled all the milk. So we put him stupidly put him back in his pen, and then during the night he had a severe dose of diarrhea, and all the other sheep lay in it.
Oh God!
And we came out in the morning and like
Like imagine.
What's happened?
I bet you weren't like that. I bet there was a bit of swearing going on. Like I can imagine.
I cannot imagine what that must have been like.
My
seeing
first
that.
thought would have been this. It's like, do you know what I mean? I do not need this.
Honestly, they were all pristine. They were absolutely immaculate, and I came out there and there was everywhere. Excuse the language. It was everywhere.
That is heartbreaking.
I was saying they told me or something.
Oh,
5 o'clock in the morning, we were washing sheep to get them ready. Luckily, it was a dry morning, so we managed to get them out, get them dried, and then head for Yorkshire Show. But it was
5 o'clock in the morning.
We had to wash all 6 sheep again.
you're saying this as if it's mad. That's the kind of thing you would do.
I bet, but the difference is
Here, make money.
Going to these shows and stuff. Yeah, that is one big difference. Actually, we talk about showing thing, but more the big difference is I haven't sold a company for a lot of money. Do you know what I mean?
No, but you'd be
like,
exactly
I can tell you, I would not be doing all the stuff I'm doing if I'd already sold a business like Tom has. Like, so credit. That's how you know he just loves it.
Yeah,
that's how you know he's proper sick in the head.
Proper sick in
to
the
me.
head.
I think it's the whole Valais thing is just what an addiction it's been, because you had Jacobs.
I had
for
Jacobs before, yeah.
a short period. I bought that flock dispersal off him. They did really good sheep, actually, Jacob. Like, she's stone mad.
I always tell people I sold the Jacobs because I was fed up getting phone calls with people telling me my Jacobs had escaped again.
Aye, they're pretty wild. Like, great reproductive sheep, actually. They did well, but the Jacob and the Valais is just not a good mix.
Well, Joe, what was a good mix is we rent out fields to a farmer, a commercial farmer, and our tup escaped and did the damage with quite a few of his ewes.
Yep.
And initially it was absolutely livid because obviously he thought this was going to be a big problem until he got the lambs.
Aye.
And he's like, these are the best lambs I have ever had.
Big leggy, growthy things.
Big, chunky, heavy lambs. So I think he's actually going to borrow the tup again.
To be fair, your lambs are coming out absolutely bloody huge.
Yeah, they're big lambs. Our average lambs are coming out about 6-7 kilos.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, she's a big sheep. She's a massive framey sheep.
Yeah.
And the tups are absolutely huge and leggy. Maybe there's probably it's just the wool is the big drawback for the commercial farm. Like, the wool's just an absolute nightmare.
Well, a Valai's got to be sheared twice a year. It grows that quick.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got to shear them in March and then shear them again in September.
Yeah.
Really?
So
those ones that you were showing, had they been shorn in March?
they were shorn. Well, February, March, we shorn.
You have to do it
shear
different
them
for the shows.
Different dates for the shows.
Yeah.
You're looking about 5.5 months of growth for a show.
Right, okay.
Just to get
And you
it
leave the
perfect.
head and the tail, is that right? And you make it bushier, or
You leave a little in the head and you leave a little in the legs to get
the legs it is.
a wee bit bushier.
It's the
like
blackies that leave the tail, isn't
it's
it?
like the first time Cammy did
Blackies
that.
leave the tail.
Do we?
I think so, aye.
Do you think so?
And the shearlings.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Not in the lambs, you don't shear
Yeah.
the lamb, but the shearlings.
Yeah.
Cammy came to shear the sheep, right, and we had said to him, right, we're leaving the legs on these, right, we're leaving a bit of wool in the legs. Aye, no problem. First blow, straight down.
Hey.
My mind would be wandering.
Yeah.
I go into my safe space.
Yeah.
When I start sharing Valais Blacknose, like just for my own mental health, I recede away back into a childhood memory. Like back to a better time.
And when he's getting videoed, you all right, Cammy? You managing? Yeah, I'm managing fine, and the sweat's pouring off.
Do you know, it's so bad now. Tom's got me one of those slings, you know, the bungees.
Yeah.
So I've got one of those bungees now that I can sit in. What a difference.
When he gets to
Is it?
shearing season, he doesn't answer his phone. He's like, Cammy? No.
And also, if you're shearing in February, March, you won't have shorn, and so your fitness will be down as well.
That is the main problem.
Yeah.
You have no fitness at all. Your back's absolutely buggered shearing these sheep that just give you nothing back. And there's wool. Everyone takes probably 6 minutes
There's
or
just
something.
wool everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah, they big sheep. It's just such
Yeah.
a slow job. But they comb like butter. Like lovely skin. Like beautiful skin. Like you'll hardly nick one. Like
Right.
because they're just so fluffy and beautiful.
You've done some cracking videos of the shearing the big sheep.
Oh, it's God, I've had loads over, tens of thousands, some millions of views, I think, with it, because they're such an impressive bloody sheep.
So was it just from shearing Tom's sheep that was how you first met?
Just those
Yeah.
4 who come in here. I
Yeah,
think,
and then
aye.
that's how it's developed into you end up taking on a unit and
Yeah,
all
aye.
of that. It's just come
So
from
it's
there.
like when it was first, probably when you, I don't know, when you built, were those your second ones you built, or no, you maybe
They were the third ones.
third ones, aye.
Yep.
So it was kind of for there. I was like, we can
You
maybe take
took
one of
the wee
these.
unit to start with, and
Just a single, and then build it up to the next one. I think he actually gave us a second one for a while, just for nothing, because we were waiting to move across here.
to get the double, yeah.
And then I think because the next person coming in wanted the double. I think that was part of it.
Right.
So that let us test out having 2, and then
Yeah.
we thought, well, we could actually have 3, and
And this one, when this one came up with the offices and everything in it, it was
Perfect.
you know, it was ideal for you.
yeah, it's
Even
not
if
cool.
it wasn't the step that you really wanted at the time.
Yeah, it felt like too big a step at the
Did
time.
it?
But then it's once you're in, it's like that old thing, you can never build too big a shed.
That's so true.
Well, you can, but like most other folk can. Yours is absolutely ridiculous. But right, so just to clarify for the future, no more increasing the numbers. Get them down below 200. This isn't a promise, just
That's
a
a plan.
wish, just
That's
a
a
hope.
plan. That's a plan.
That's a plan.
That's a
Okay,
plan.
get them down. Get into another breed.
No.
No.
If I didn't have Valleys, I'd probably have Rylands. I really like
I
Rylands.
really like Rylands.
People are loving Rylands.
We're going to get a couple, I think.
Are you?
You've heard it here first. I think Davy Mitchell's maybe get talked into.
Well,
Chris Boyd bought them.
Davy's, we've met Davy through the shows, and he's a good friend now, and absolutely love his sheep. I love
He's
his
a great
Rylands.
guy too.
He is. He's
Like,
a cracking guy.
Aye, he's got the chat. He's just such a nice guy. But
We were at the Yorkshire show last year, and our group had ran out of alcohol, believe it or not, and they sent me over to Davy to see if he could steal some alcohol off him, keep us going.
so there you go, and that's get you out, into the Rylands, because Rylands aren't MV, but the Valleys aren't MV accredited.
Well, they can be, but most of them aren't.
But for showing they're not.
They're not.
And then the Rylands aren't MV either, are they?
I don't believe so. No.
Are they in the same tent as you?
Yeah, the same tent as
so
us,
it will
yeah.
be right. Okay, so they're not MV
Maybe
either.
you should say what that is.
MV, it's Medavicina. It's a disease, I suppose, that is probably quite common in sheep actually in the UK. Probably more so than we actually know.
If all sheep were tested, it would be more. It'd certainly be a lot more in it than you think.
Aye, it'd be a shock. I bet you some commercial flocks how much have it, and it's just a thing they try and some test and so they know that flock's negative and some don't, and they keep them separate at the shows. But if you want to get into certain breeds, you have to do it. It's not like it's not optional. Well, it is optional, but not if you want to show.
Yeah,
like I don't think you can show non-MV texels like.
I don't think so.
There just wouldn't be a class
No,
for that. It's
no.
just MV or nothing.
The problem with MV and non-MV at the shows is they've got a separation, and it's very, very hard for the judge to walk over to this pen
Absolutely.
and then match them against this
Yeah,
pen.
of course.
Yeah.
And they're not in.
So-
I mean, they obviously they have to do it slightly for the overall, but again, it's separate pens, and
Yeah.
I always wonder about that. Like with the MV thing, somebody can maybe answer this. It's like, see, tup sales, for example, like half the market will be MV and half will be non-MV, right? But it's the same buyers going in, like fingers in the mouth, checking the gums and all that. Next pen, so they're in a non-MV pen, finger in the mouth, checking the mouth.
Yeah, and then
That's a mouth, I should say. And then they're down into the MV bit, rubbing their
Yeah.
finger.
If they were doing it
Yeah.
correctly, they should be in the non-MVs checking their mouths first and then going to the MVs.
washing hands.
Or no,
and then-
MVs first and then to the non-MV.
No.
Oh, the ones that are proven non-MV,
the
sorry.
proven
Yes,
non-MV.
yes. The tested ones first.
Tested one
Yeah,
first,
Yeah,
and then.
but it's always one of the things. It's like,
Yeah.
But you see the judges, they do sanitise and everything, but
oh, do they?
the judges definitely hand wash and stuff between
Yeah.
classes.
Yeah, interesting. That's me just opening up a can of worms or another thing altogether. So, yeah, we'll see with some Rylands in the future.
I never say never.
You've got these shoes anyway, Tom, may as well. You don't need to wash a Ryland.
You
Well,
need to clip them.
They're definitely nicer to clip right enough than a Valley, but they're still quite difficult.
I don't think we've got where we want to be with the Valleys, because one thing that I didn't mention was last year they've got a big national show at Carlisle, and they call it the Blacknose Beauties. We were very, very fortunate there to get Reserve Supreme at that,
Wow.
out of all the breeders and that went there in the UK, which is a huge accolade. I mean, that's by far the holy grail, is to do well at Blacknose Beauties.
Wow.
Yep.
And we had won our class, and we thought it'd be, that was us. And the steward had said to me, Tom, take your sheep back out there. They want to take some more pictures of your sheep, right? Blindly, naively, I just took it out there. I'm standing there with the sheep, and she come up behind me and put the sash in the sheep, but I didn't even know.
Right.
that-
They just already, the judge had decided.
The judge had decided.
Really?
I think it was by elimination that my sheep had got it, if you
Okay,
like. you know.
yep.
And this she put the sash on behind me, and honestly, it blew me away.
Aye.
To
Amazing.
get that at that show,
It's actually amazing to me how much it means to you. Like,
It's so nice.
Aye.
I mean, it's a £4 sash or a £2 rosette.
yeah.
But it's the fact that you've worked so hard on these, and you want to, you want to just be, I don't know, just people to tell you that you've done a good job.
Yeah.
And it does mean a lot. I mean, the Yorkshire just was incredible.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
it was amazing. And next one, there's no next one this year.
Oh no, there is. We're going to Braco, and then we're going to Black Isle, and then we're going to Perth, and then we've got Carlisle Blacknose Beauties again. That's a big one. So we'll see how we go there.
It's exciting.
So if you didn't think you was sick in the head already, you definitely do now. Like, just enjoy your bloody summer.
Says you.
Or drive to Black Isle, do the show, and drive back home again.
Is that what you're doing? On the same day? Oh my god! To be fair, we're up the night before, and then
straight from Malvern.
Yeah, so we will be at the Black Isle as well. This will be out before the Black Isle, so we'll see you there.
That's a good show.
The merch stand. Black Isle's class.
Really nice show.
Absolutely fantastic, and it's really good. It's good for us because we've not done it yet, and we should really be getting up the north a bit to do that area and show face a bit. So we'll be up there at the Black Isle. But one other thing I was going to touch on as well, like you kind of joked about it earlier, is it's okay for us going to the shows and spending money on accommodation, being at the show for 4 days, the amount of effort that takes, because we're making money at the shows. But like, see you guys that show sheep and cattle and stuff, like absolute full credit. I know in a big part it's a big shop window, and you'd make money in the long run, I suppose, because people like you being Supreme Champion. Were you getting folk coming up to you after you got interested in buying sheep? Or?
Oh, you definitely do. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But I don't do it for the money.
Yeah.
And I'm in a
which is even more terrifying.
Fantastically fortunate position that I can do that, and I can enjoy it, and I don't, because I see if I had to make money out of it, that would kill it for me.
Yeah.
But are you not in quite a good club with that in the Valleys? I mean, they're such an expensive breed. Is there not most of the guys at the top are probably in a similar boat?
There's a few that they certainly don't make any money out of them. They do it just because it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and it's something different from their day-to-day work.
Yep.
And genuinely, I mean, as long as it didn't cost frightening amounts of money, I enjoy it. You go away there, you go in a hotel, you meet the people you go for a drink, you socialise. They're all really, really decent people.
Yeah.
The money doesn't really...
Till you get to 2 o'clock in the morning, and then they're all playing that, get her wallet out, see who's thicker. It's like that. No, I'm joking. The champagne, another glass here, please. No, it's just actually like, I've been up for a beer, they're all just sitting about there, and they're just like any other kiss party.
It is.
You're a vodka man, everyone else is on lukewarm beers like they are at the shows.
And the thing is that, I think if you were going to these things and you had to make money and you were watching every penny because that was your livelihood, I don't think it'd be the same. I really don't.
That added pressure is,
I think the fact that it's just good fun and you can just go and relax. I'm not saying that you spend a fortune, but you just go in there and enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's what everybody is doing it for. And it's a different breed. There's more emotion to Valleys than any other breed. You see other people. I watch a lot at the shows, the other breeders, and they're all commercial farmers, and they're very black and white about what they do. But there's so much emotion with Valleys. They're people's pets. You see people that have only got 1 or 2, and they're babies, and it's just a whole different world.
Well, I mean, one amazing thing, if you tell me if I'm wrong here, because I don't think I am, but you've never sent a sheep for slaughter.
I've never sent a sheep for slaughter, no.
So, like,
never.
you're 202 just now, but you imagine how many sheep, lambs and stuff you've had and sold over the years. Like, not one has went, everyone's went as a pet. I think the last count we've sold about 70.
Wow.
So you've sold 70. There you go, and everyone's went, and that's the weathers and everything goes as a pet.
As pets. Pets are to breeders.
No, so it's because, I mean, you're not one of these people that's like, oh God, like dead against it or anything like that. But you really care about those animals. Like it's, and I'm not saying other farmers don't, like before anyone jumps on it, but we have to sell them for slaughter. Like I have to send my lambs to slaughter.
Yeah, and that's where the difference is.
Yeah, like, Tom, they don't have to in the valley.
Hobby.
Yeah. But I think that's a nice thing about the valley is that you don't have to. You have a route for your wethers. Okay, it's diminishing slightly.
At some point, they are going to get into the food chain, and
because the market for wethers
is silly not to realise that, especially when it is such a good meat. And I think, to be honest with you, there will be people privately putting them into the food chain.
Oh, there will be some doing it. Absolutely,
there definitely will be. I think it'd be better for the breed if it went into the food chain again, because
like Swiss style. Because
you'd be culling off anything that didn't make the mark and keeping the best. but it's such an emotive subject because you're not dealing with commercial people, you're dealing with people's pets.
Yeah, it's different.
So it is really, really, really difficult.
Yeah, her dad's the same with the blackies.
I can imagine.
Can't let anything go. No, that's fantastic, Tom. I appreciate your time. Anything else you want to ask Iona?
No, I'm happy.
Yeah. Obviously, we'll talk off camera about getting into these Rylands, so we'll go halfers and a flock name.
Have I got it?
Aye.
But just out of interest,
Black Wilson. The Black Wilson Rylands.
Strong
Sounds
name.
like a pirate. Sounds like a
Black
pirate.
Wilson.
I was at the Yorkshire and I was looking at these slats that you had been talking about.
Yes.
And
They'd be Fowris. Was it Fowris' thing at Yorkshire?
Gary, some.
Oh, I'm not sure. But James is the owner, but it would be maybe staff that was on. But
Maybe. They look quite a good thing, and I think we're going to try a pen or two of slats for the Valleys just to see if it makes a difference.
yeah, that is one thing I've been harping on about for
You have,
ages.
Yeah.
bending
Like
my ear about slats.
Oh, because he built that new big shed and it's all straw, and straw's a fortune.
Yeah.
Feet, as we talked about, the straw and the feet can cause issues as well. So, and I know what you said. You said to do with stain in the wool. Because in Norway they do a lot of it, and you do see a kind of stain on the wool, but I think as we've discussed, there's sheep you're never going to show.
Exactly.
So-
But even if you'd washed your sheep and you wanted them just to stand and dry for a bit, put them in the slats where if they do pee or anything, it's going down, it's
It's fine.
disappearing. They're
Yeah.
just going to go and lie in it.
Yeah.
So we're going to give it a wee go and see.
We might just do a corner of the old shed.
We'll probably do a bay or two and see.
Be interesting in the future to get you back on to
And hear what the slats
see
did.
what they did.
See how the Islands are doing.
Yeah, see how the Rylands are doing. Aye, that's the next thing. Right, we'll go and talk about these Rylands now. Tom, thanks very much for coming in. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you,
problem at all.
Tom.
Cheers.